Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon on Lunchtime News. Well, we have a comprehensive bulletin lined up this afternoon. Our sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. My name is Jackie Wimbiru. Now, to kick us off, President William Ruto is in Uganda for a two-day official visit that will see him address the 18th Non-Aligned Movement Summit later today. The summit, established in 1961, will seek to address crucial global issues, including multilateralism, international peace, and post-COVID-19 recovery strategies. South Sudan is also expected to be formally admitted to the movement today. The head of state arrived in Kampala on Thursday and later attended the 42nd Extraordinary Assembly of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development that discussed the situation in Sudan and the ongoing diplomatic spat between Somalia and Ethiopia.
As our region grapples with challenging times, be it the devastating conflict in our sister nation, Sudan, or the recent developments in relations with Somalia and Ethiopia, these challenges necessitate bold leadership, unwavering commitments, and a shared vision that transcends borders and ideologies.
So therefore, in our discussion, we captured this, and we really think the parties involved must stop these unprincipled wars. We call these types of wars unprincipled wars.
In other news, residents of Jipendeni and Rumshi in Lamu County who are living in temporary camps have raised a red flag over the deplorable condition they're living in. The residents who were forced to flee their homes due to floods are grappling with a myriad of challenges, among them hunger, waterborne diseases, and the education crisis.
Months after residents of Jipendeni and Rumshi in Lamu County were displaced by floods and confined into makeshift structures, the families are now facing a myriad of challenges.
Watoto nao inakuwa shida kutoka kwenda shule mpaka wavuke maji. Hiyo na inafanya mpaka watoto kwa vidole kwa kuna nyungu.
Tunaomba sisi watu wa Lumshi tukumbukwe, maana mahali tuko sio mahali panaostahili. Njaa inatusonga, watoto wetu hawana nguvu ya kuamuka hapa na kuelekea mashuleni, manake chakula hakuna.
Families are struggling to put food on the table besides worries of their health status.
Ama kiko choo hapa?
Hakuna.
Kiko hapa choo?
Hakuna.
Mimi ninajua serikali ya county ina uwezo mkubwa. Ina uwezo wa kuleta mobile toilet na sisi hapa tukatumia. Ina uwezo wa kuleta vyandarua tukatumia. Ni kweli tuletewa chakula, lakini ile chakula ilikuwa kidogo.
Many families have lost their livelihoods, making it difficult for them to afford necessary resources for their children's education.
Watoto wetu hata wakienda mashuleni, sababu wasasi wako hapa, sababu hakuna mahali tuenda kufanya kibarua, mashamba imejaa maji. Watoto wetu wanafukuzwa, wanaturudia hapa kambi na hakuna mahali tunaweza pata msaada wa pesa ili tuwarudishe mashuleni.
The displaced residents are now reaching out to private organizations and the government, appealing for assistance to alleviate their hardships.
Tunaomba serikali yetu ikakumbuke watoto wetu walioko shuleni, wakaweze kupata kulipiwa secondary, wakalipiwa ili watoto wetu wakasome.
Mimi wito wangu ni kwamba ninaomba wahisani kutoka pande zote za ulimwengu huu waweze kufika hapa na misaada yao ya dharura tuweze kuokolewa.
John Junge for Lunchtime News.
The National Heroes Council is calling on the county and national governments to identify and recognize heroes and heroines who have made tremendous efforts and contributions towards nation building. Speaking during the swearing-in of a new member of the Heroes Council board, Sheila Mohamed, National Heroes Council chairperson Jimmy Ngwenye says most of the veterans are recognized posthumous. Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome, who presided over the swearing-in ceremony, said that besides the work of identifying and proposing Kenyan heroes, the council also plays a crucial role in conserving and preserving country's heritage. Kenya National Private Security Workers Union is demanding for the implementation of the 30,000 shillings minimum wage for their members as recommended by the Private Security Regulatory Authority. Now, this comes a day after a case was filed by private security firms challenging the proposal to set a minimum wage of 30,000 shillings.
How about working on school fees? How about working on other necessities? How about working on general mambo ya medical? How about ni human beings? So uwezi kusema ya kwamba bawabu apata increment 3,000, which is of course not even enough. Alafu wewe unakimbia kotini, you misuse the cards. We are saying if they will not respect that notice, because now the barriers, there's no more about courts. The court has removed those barriers. Now they have only one option. Hawa wa implement vile Fazulu amesema na hiyo notice yake, na kama si hivyo Fazulu delete yao from the business registry. Hakuna story nyingine, waende nyumbani.
Now moving on, Cambo Governor Kimani Wamatangi has warned land grabbers of dire consequences amid heightened land disputes in the county. Wamatangi says that huge chunks of public utility have been illegally allocated to individuals. Speaking at Kihengoro Secondary School, where he presided over the issuance of bursary checks to needy learners, Wamatangi said his administration will not cede any portion of the land to selfish individuals. He added that persons who have encroached public land meant for early childhood development, education and other projects in the county to keep off, or they will lose their money.
Kama mmegawa ardhi kama hii na wananchi wanakuja kuishi, lazima kubakie ardhi ya kuhudumia wananchi, ile tunaita public land. Ama tunatengeneza zile hospitali za watoto wetu, viwanja kama hii ya watoto wetu kuchezea. Lakini watu wengine, na mimi nataka niwaambie nikiwa hapa Gatongora, kwa vile hapa Gatongora ndio hii watu wamezidi, lakini niwaambie mara hii mumeambulia patupu.
Away from Cambo County, the Law Society of Kenya has continued to condemn the attacks on the judiciary and the performance of its functions. LSK Chair Kilifi Branch Conrad Atiang joined in the fray of those cautioning against any form of dialogue between the executive and the judiciary, saying judicial functions cannot be negotiated.
Calls discouraging the three arms of the government initiating dialogue over their mandates and their decision have continued to grow louder by the day.
We want to discourage this form of dialogue that is being called by the Chief Justice and the President of the Republic, and say that as a society we do not appreciate a negotiation of judicial functions.
With legal pundits arguing it negates the doctrine of separation of powers as envisaged in the 2010 Constitution. The Law Society of Kenya Kilifi Branch are the latest to weigh in on the matter.
As a society we say that the law exists to administer judicial function, and we encourage both the Chief Justice and the judges that work under the judiciary to follow the law, and when they so do, the Law Society will support them.
The advocates have condemned the recent attacks that have been meted on judges over their previous judgments and the ongoing matters before the courts.
That the conduct and their intention to casually treat court orders the way they do is risking us rendering the Republic into a state of lawlessness and a state of anarchy.
LSK Chair Kilifi Branch Conrad Atiang states that court's decision should be challenged appropriately instead of publicly calling out the judiciary, which undermines the judicial system's integrity. Meanwhile, Nyaribari Saba MP Daniel Manduku has voiced his support for the affordable housing project currently spearheaded by the Kenya Kwanza administration. The ODM legislator states that the program is timely and will create employment for the youth and solve the housing crisis in the country.
Nilichaguliwa katika chama cha ODM. Mimi ni kijana ya baba. Lakini William Ruto amekuwa rafiki yangu miaka nyingi sana, hata kushinda hao wote. Tumefanya kazi naye, lakini kwa mambo ya housing nimesimama kidete, nimesema ya kwamba housing agenda must be fulfilled come rain, come sunshine. We are in the opposition, yes, but we know that as a government in power. And we support the president and the deputy. Kwa sababu mlitushinda kura ama namna gani? Si tulihesabu zikakuwa chache kidogo.
Abdiaziz Hashim for Lunchtime News.
The Ministry of Lands has announced plans to revoke all illegally issued title deeds. Speaking in Lake Naivasha Resort during a 2-day workshop for senior officers from the ministry, Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome attributed the current crisis in the ministry to powerful cartels who have a well-organized network to fleece Kenyans through fraudulent land transactions. The CS further says they will not recognize allotment letters that had expired after the owners failed to comply with the law.
The Ministry of Lands has raised concerns about increased cases of land disputes in the country. The ministry says that hundreds of title deeds were fraudulent and others were issued illegally with the aid of unscrupulous government officers working with the cartels.
We shall operate at zero tolerance to corruption. Therefore, we have no room and space for fraudsters, especially where our officers are likely to be involved or may get involved.
Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome revealed that the ministry has a debt of over 8 billion shillings in litigation fees due to various cases in courts.
We want to compete with the best. If the best is Kenya Revenue, we'll compete with them. You know, Kenya Revenue is receiving from more of us. But if the best is police, if the best is mining, we want to compete with the best. And because we have records, we want to compare ourselves with the best so that we can catch up.
While putting government officers and fraudsters on notice, Wahome stated identified allotment letters was one of the major gaps that the ministry had established while dealing with issues of land disputes. This even as she said the government will not recognize allotment letters that had expired after the owners failed to comply with the law.
Because once you don't meet, do what you are supposed to do, the conditions set within the 60 days, the government, the allotment body, the commission or the county authority has the right to allocate the same property to another person and proceed to process the title.
At the same time, Lands Principal Secretary Nixon Korir attributed the rise in revenue collection in the ministry to the shift to the cashless system.
So we had an engagement with KBC, which they allowed the Ministry of Lands and appointed us as collectors of stamp duty formally, so that we collect stamp duty on their behalf through our system, but it goes to a KBC account for the system.
Timothy Kipnosu for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, a section of members of the County Assembly from Isiolo, Samburu and Laikipia counties now urge Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki to consider giving them more time to persuade their communities to surrender stolen livestock in their possession. This follows the lapse of 1 week time given by Interior Cabinet Secretary before the rolling out of security operations in the region.
Following the lapse of the 1 week given by the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki for local political leaders to engage their community and persuade them to voluntarily relinquish all stolen livestock and identify criminals amongst themselves before the rollout of a security operation in the region, a group of MCAs are now calling on the Interior Cabinet Secretary to give them more time to reach out to areas that they are yet to visit.
Shughuli hii ni mzuri sana kwa sababu tumeathirika sana kwa mambo ya wizi ya mifugo. Tumepoteza mifugo nyingi na pia na vijana wengi wamepoteza maisha yao, na tungependa kama viongozi ama wasee watoto wetu waendelee kupoteza maisha na pia watu kuendelea kuathirika na mambo ya wizi ya mifugo.
Pengine tu ile kitu mimi ningeomba waziri ni kwamba tunajua kwamba kwa sababu ile siku 7 ambayo tuliomba na ile area ambayo tuna cover ama ile walls tumeweza kucover, tunaona kana kwamba hiyo muda haitoshi kwetu. Kwa hivyo tungeomba waziri hata hii wiki ambayo inakuja tungeomba waziri aweze kutuongezea ndio tuweze kufikia kila mtu kwa sababu tumeweza kuharakisha.
Speaking at Sere Olipi in Samburu County, where they managed to recover 19 goats, 2 cows and 1 camel following an engagement with area elders, the MCAs led by Kevin Lemantan argued that they were only able to hold 5 community engagement forums due to the little time accorded to them.
Watu wengi karibu 50% wamerudisha mali yao nyumbani, wengine bado wako mbali, na ndio maana hii muda tulipewa na waziri Profesa Kindiki tumemanage kupata haya mali ambaye sio mingi sana, lakini tunatarajia kwamba by next week tutapata idadi mzuri ambaye watu wanarudisha bila kusukuma, bila kutumia nguvu.
During an earlier meeting with elders at Larisoro, 16 stolen cows were recovered and further 68 goats were recovered at Daba. While names of over 50 criminals have also been handed over to authorities, with the leaders confident of getting more results if given adequate time.
Napenda kuomba CS Kindiki aweze kusitisha mambo ya operation, maana tutashirikiana pamoja na serikali na viongozi na kuhakikisha ya kwamba mifugo yote iliyoibwa tutaweza kutoa kwa njia ya mazungumzo ili tuweze kurejeshea wenyewe.
However, some community members have urged CS Kindiki to sanction the rollout of the plant security operation immediately, arguing that the efforts by MCAs have borne very little fruits.
And in education matters, all learners in public early childhood education centers in Machakos County are set to receive free milk following the launch of a school milk feeding program. The ambitious program by the county government was rolled out at Kiemudheke Primary School in Mavoko Sub-County. The area governor of Inyandeti says the initiative is aimed at increasing enrollment, boosting nutrition among children and improving their general well-being.
The program, dubbed Maziwa ya Mama under the slogan Feeding the Future, is akin to the Maziwa ya Nyayo program launched by the late President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi.
Giza la mwizi, sahani ya mchele na maziwa je ya watoto wa Nyayo.
The learners will receive the milk twice per week, a move aimed at enhancing retention in school, hence better learning outcomes.
Maziwa ya Nyayo ilisaidia watu sana na ilisaidia watoto sana, maana watoto wengi hata wakiwa na njaa kwa nyumba walikuwa wanajua nikifika shule nitakunywa maziwa. Kwa hivyo ilisaidia watoto kwenda shule na kuweza kusoma wakiwa wanasikia vizuri kidogo. Na watoto ukiangalia wote governor, si wazazi wote ambao wanaweza kuafford kununulia watoto maziwa wakunywe.
Ukiangalia watoto wa ndogo saa hii katika county yetu, I'm sure county commissioner will agree with us, we are going to have enrollment going up because we know watoto wetu watakula shuleni na pia watapata maziwa shuleni.
The free school milk program we are launching today for all the public ECDs in Machakos County is expected to increase the enrollment, boost nutrition among our children, as well as improve their health and general well-being. I wish to note that this milk will be delivered weekly to all schools at no cost to the parents. Kwa hivyo hakuna pesa mzazi ataitishwa ya maziwa. Maziwa ni free.
Besides the health and nutritional benefits, the program is expected to boost the earnings of dairy farmers who will supply the milk.
Tumekubaliana na wale wanatuzia maziwa wanunue maziwa kwa cooperative zetu. Tunaendelea na kupanga hiyo mikakati tumalize na wanunue maziwa kwa bei mzuri kutoka Machakos County. This opportunity for our farmers is a step towards the realization of chakula mezani, pesa mfukoni development agenda.
Uasin Gishu County government rolled out a similar program in 2023. Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Still on education matters, students from poor backgrounds who performed well in last year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations in Kasarani constituency had a reason to smile after the area member of parliament Ronald Karauri sponsored their education and upkeep in school for the next 4 years. Karauri urged parents to take education of their children seriously, saying education is the only equalizer. He at the same time warned parents against hiding children with disabilities, saying they have a right to access education. Those who benefited from the scholarship pledged to work hard in school.
Naitwa Mama Arvin Mwangi, niko na furaha kubwa sana kurudishia Ronald Karauri kwa maana tumekuja kwa ofisi yake, tumepata full scholarship for 4 years. Mtoto wangu anaenda Renana School.
My name is Alvin Mwangi and I've been given a scholarship for 4 years by Captain Ronald Karauri.
Toa Rose Kalondu, nimefurahia sana. Mheshimiwa Karauri amenipea scholarship ya 4 years. Nimepata uniform, nimepata viatu na vitu zote za shule.
Na mimi niko na mtoto ambaye ni walemavu, ambaye amekuwa kwa nyumba kwa muda mrefu kama sijapata mahali nampeleka shule. Na mheshimiwa kwa kweli amenisaidia, amechukua huyo mtoto kumlipia shule, anaingia pale anaanza PP2 na kuendelea. Kwa hivyo mimi langu ni kushukuru Mungu kwa mheshimiwa ambaye amejali pia watoto ambao ni walemavu. Amegharamia kila kitu.
The county government of Mombasa, in partnership with a Swiss-based foundation that deals with cases of malnutrition, has launched a campaign dubbed Vegetable for All in 5 counties. The campaign is aimed at enhancing awareness on consumption of vegetables to improve nutrition. Speaking during the launch of the program in Jomvu constituency, the project manager Dennis Agri said they target to reach 1.1 million people by 2026, starting with Nairobi, Cambo, Machakos, Nakuru and Mombasa. The campaign will focus on reaching families with children under the age of 12 years who are low-income earners.
Million consumers to encourage them to improve their vegetable consumption. And this is based on research that showed that the World Health Organization recommends that vegetables and fruit consumption should be at 400 grams per day per person. Yet, even with the increase in the GDP in Kenya, our consumption is still low at 100 to 130 grams per day per person. Yet, again, Kenya faces a triple burden of malnutrition, that is undernutrition, micronutrient deficiency, and obesity. So this project is promoting vegetable consumption to address the malnutrition issues in Kenya, and we are targeting 5 counties, that is Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Machakos and Kiambu. Yes, these are the 5 counties that we are targeting. We're using tuk-tuks as a method to ensure that we're able to reach to the part of the 1.1 million consumers to increase vegetable consumption.
Pande yetu sisi kulingana na zile changamoto za kama malnutrition, ndio sisi tunaweza kuhamasisha kuhusu utumiaji wa mboga ili kuepusha vitu kama hizo za malnutrition ili wapate lishe bora.
The Kenya National Union of Teachers Migori branch has urged parents to put in place a financial plan to ensure they are adequately prepared when learners transition to secondary school. According to union officials, enrolling children in school without adequate personal effects affects their academic and mental well-being.
Cases of children reporting to school without personal effects when joining Form 1 has attracted the attention of education stakeholders who are now calling on parents to better plan for their transition. Speaking at Makalda Village, Nyatike during a community funds drive, Migori branch NAT official Roslyn Wandigi noted that parents have an 8-year window to prepare financially.
They are the people who gave birth to these children, and therefore they should know their backgrounds, they should know how they are living, they are even buying shoes, clothes, they have been taking responsibilities. So it is very important then, even as they plan to take them to secondary, let them not wait last minute.
Her sentiments were echoed by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Secretary General Orwa Jasolo.
Students reporting is when you start looking for money elsewhere. We were aware that the students were progressing from class 1 to class 2, class 3, 7, 8 good years in primary school. There is nothing you can say you have done to enable that students report in school. We are affecting the students on the first day of school emotionally.
Elsewhere, Nkareta Secondary School Principal George Kuluo has decried poor road network in Narok County that has been worsened by the ongoing heavy downpour affecting Form 1 admission, and is now calling upon the county government to intervene and salvage the situation.
But the only problem that we have currently that has affected us in the reporting is our roads. The road from the junction, Tarmac Road, we are about 17 kilometers from that road. But this road right now, you can spend even 3 hours. From here to that place, you can even spend 3 hours. And most of the parents have been coming here 2 days.
Opicho Chemtai for Lunchtime News.
Thank you so much, Opicho Chemtai, for that report. On that note, we take a short break right here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. Anti-gender-based violence crusaders are now attributing the increasing cases of femicide to human organ trafficking. The group drawn from the National Assembly, the Office of the President's Advisor on Women's Rights, agencies for persons with disabilities, as well as research organs further cite poverty as a possible incentive for the recent murder incidents in the country.
A section of Kenyan women leaders are seeking solutions to the rising reported cases on gender-based violence in the country. In a fortnight, 2 female bodies were recovered from Airbnbs in Nairobi's Roysambu and South B Estate, causing an uproar over the security of women in the country. President's Advisor on Women's Rights, Harriet Shigai, attributes the incidents to poverty.
I have seen comments from different quarters stating that our children, Starlet Wahu, Rita Waeni, and just yesterday a woman who was killed by her husband deserved to be killed. This and many other women and girls have suffered the fate of violence that we as a society have refused to address.
Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, Gladys Sholei, says it is time for the lawmakers to amend the Act on Gender-Based Violence.
One, we have to strengthen law enforcement capacities. We must empower our law enforcement agencies with the necessary resources and training to effectively combat this new form of digital crime.
To ensure that information provided also captures the intersectionality that is women and women with disabilities.
According to the Kenya Medical Research Institute, many girls are intoxicated before they are killed, which the state organization says it is working with pharmacies to bar the sale of certain drugs.
People who are killing our girls, they are using drugs, whereby publicly the name is Mchele. Mchele Those are drugs which are dangerous drugs in the policies and in the Act of Pharmacy and Poisons Board, whereby they are called Dangerous Drug Act.
This as the Directorate of Criminal Investigation says that it has established leads to the latest femicide incidents and the culprits will be brought to book.
We have partnered with the government chemist. The government chemist is giving us very, very vital evidence that will be used to place this suspect on the scene of crime.
Irene Mchuma Udim, The Lunchtime News.
And now on news making headlines in the business world, Chinese contractors plan to cut down on housing material imports to promote local manufacturers. Chinese Property Developers Association Kenya Chair Zhang Jieping says housing units constructed by Chinese contractors will earmark a specific percentage for locally manufactured components.
The government plans to construct 500,000 housing units annually under the Affordable Housing Project as a way of creating employment to the youth as well as offering Kenyans decent housing. The project is also expected to boost the local manufacturing sector, with local artisans expected to make key fittings such as doors and windows that are needed for the project. China developers in Kenya now say they have a plan to reduce importation of building material to support local manufacturers.
According to the requirement and our design of the housing, we will try our little best to sourcing from the local manufacturers so we can now give them more opportunities.
You know, I already heard a lot of information about this the cooperation between the Chinese developer and the local suppliers. So now this relation has been very good, and we believe it will be continuously and now to work closely together.
Chinese Property Developers Association Kenya chapter says it will also work with the financial institutions to facilitate more potential homeowners actualize their dreams.
Most of this purchased house, we found some changes. You know, especially some Chinese developers, the price is not that expensive. So now it comes to the level which people can afford.
Nairobi Governor warned developers and contractors against altering housing plans, noting that the Devolve unit is keen on addressing the issue of unplanned housing development, which strain available infrastructure.
Often due to unscrupulous developers disengaging the services of key professionals without notice once approvals have come. So we give you an approval and then you remove the professionals from your site. I know those developers are not in this room, but we have put them on notice because we must safeguard the people of our city to make sure that all the rules are adhered to.
Benson Druba reporting for Lunchtime.
The youth in Makueni County are set to access funds and skills to engage in agribusiness, specifically in aquaculture, poultry and beekeeping. This follows a partnership between the county government of Makueni and SME-focused NGO Jacob's Ladder of Africa that seeks to bridge the funding gap, barring many young people from taking up agribusiness.
With the average age of the Kenyan farmer at 53 years, there is a glaring need to involve more young people in agriculture. Jacob's Ladder Africa is an non-governmental organization that aims to empower youth to participate in agribusiness as a way of creating jobs and improving their well-being. Speaking during the signing of the MOU, Makueni Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. said the deal will see Jacob's Ladder Africa train and equip Makueni youths with necessary knowledge before getting financial support from the county government.
Na mimi nauliza wafadhili wote ambao wanataka kusaidia vijana Makueni na Kenya nzima. Huu ndio mwanzo mpya wa kuangalia na kuhakikisha kwamba vijana wamepata ajira. It is a biased way of ensuring that we have given our youth a platform to make money properly.
He also encouraged youths to embrace the move and come out strong to start since they now have enough resources.
Vikundi 20 zitapata fedha haraka iwezekanavyo baada ya sahihi yangu, na nimeshaweka sahihi. Kwa hivyo kuanzia kesho pesa iko. Watu waanze kufanya kilimo.
The MOU will mainly focus on aquaculture, poultry keeping and beekeeping value chains and will be implemented through youth groups to achieve scale and sustainable impact.
The partnership has to do with empowering young people to be able to access funds on the one hand, but on the other hand to be able to give them the necessary skills and the knowledge that they need for them to be successful when it comes to specific value chains in agribusiness.
Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
Cambo County government has rolled out a program to support farmers increase farm produce to utilize the county aggregation and industrial park under construction at Warohio Agricultural Training Center in Githunguri. This is through provision of free high-quality seeds and chicks.
Cambo County government has rolled out a program aimed at re-engineering farming from sustenance to commercial farming through provision of quality seeds and chicks at no cost, as well as subsidized fertilizer. Speaking during a seed distribution exercise at Ngewa Primary School in Githunguri, Cambo County government officials said the devolved unit had started construction of the county aggregation and industrial park that will offer a ready market for the farm produce.
Our aim is to empower our farmers such that they get good harvests. When they get good harvest, they save their money that they would have spent on buying the same seeds or the same chicks or anything that we are, or top dressing fertilizer that we are giving. Therefore, it reduces the cost of inputs.
The hundreds of farmers who attended the event welcomed the construction of the county aggregation and industrial park at Warohio Agricultural Training Center in Githunguri, noting that the project would create jobs.
Hii mpango nimeiona ni mpango mzuri zaidi ya kusaidia mwananchi kulima ili apate chakula, badala ya kupea yeye chakula atafute kazi ya kufanya. Tunashukuru sababu hii mahindi hata ile alitupea wakati mwingine ndio navuna saa hii na imezaa sawa sawa kabisa.
Amepata mbegu na amepata fertilizer, asiuse aweke ikiwa akiba ya wakati mwingine ya kutayarisha shamba na wapande.
They say increased food production would have the additional positive impact on the school feeding program in the devolved unit.
In other news, the East African Insurance Supervisors have resolved to jointly promote the development of cross-border insurance products and services to address the challenges of low insurance uptake and penetration. The regulators also agreed to coordinate joint innovation initiatives relating to insurance development in EAC member states. These emerged during the 7th special meeting of the Executive Committee meeting of the East African Insurance Supervisors Association held in Eldoret, where they resolved to employ a joint approach in supervising systemically important insurance groups, monitor cross-border industry stability, and coordinate the establishment of insurance supervisory colleges. They set a deadline of June 2025 for each regulator to develop and adopt risk management and solvency standards to ensure insurers maintain adequate financial reserves to cover potential risk and solvency requirements. The government is bidding on technical and vocational training to open up jobs for Kenyan youth. Ashley's Events Training Institute is one such organization enhancing technical expertise in the events organization industry in a bid to intensify the quality of services offered to clients in the industry and enable a robust ecosystem.
The events industry in Kenya has been on an upward trajectory, with event ticketing expected to reach $41 million this year. The organization of events requires skill and precision, and Ashley's Events Training Institute is looking to equip the human resource required in the field. The institute is currently training over 500 youth in Nakuru County with skills to develop their talents and enhance professionalism in organizing a host of events, including bridal showers, birthday parties, corporate events, weddings, as well as conferences and entertainment shows.
Being that the first institute or the first college that is trying to bring out the event management courses professionally, I am very happy because I know that in the future we are going to have a lot of professionals who are going to be organizing events.
The trainees, whose ages range between 19 to 33 years, are taken through skills development in public relations, interpersonal communication, brand image building, marketing, financial management, as well as event organization strategies. Rosemary Wangari, a tutor at the institute, notes that there is stiff competition in the events organization industry, emphasizing the need for youth aspiring to make a living in the industry to be equipped with the right knowledge and skills in events planning and management services in order to stand out.
On a brush, we need women and ladies to come up. No, there's no course which a lady or a man cannot do. Also in electrical, ladies get a high chance in job opportunities. To encourage all ladies out there, especially those who have finished Form 4 and those who are aspiring to join any college, come to Ashley Events Institute.
Jacinta Shiana, 22-year-old electrical installation student at the institution, says youths must stop taking a backseat and be at the forefront in promoting TVET as a key ingredient for economic transformation and job creation. She challenged parents to champion TVET courses to help their children acquire relevant skills favorable to the local and international labor markets.
When I come here, my future is that I'm going to do better, and as I go there outside, I am able to come and bring the students, other students here, which is in passion.
In the society, mentally, they think that electrical is not for ladies. So I just decided to be different from others.
The students further indicated the need for TVETs to instill multiple skills in students. They added that TVET institutions ought to work with public and private sector players to ensure the curriculum is in line with market needs.
The government is set to establish a functioning commodities exchange in the next 12 months as it seeks to structure the commodity market that will bring together both small-scale and large-scale farmers, financial institutions and logistic firms. Presidential Advisor on Commodities Exchange Phyllis Kandiye says Kenya stands at a better place to benefit from a functioning commodities exchange.
Kenya's Agricultural Produce Exchange is scheduled to go live in 2024. The Commodities Exchange will be an online marketplace where the buyers and sellers can trade in commodities with an assurance of quality, delivery and payment. Speaking at a stakeholders consultation meeting, Presidential Advisor on Commodities Exchange Phyllis Kandiye says the process seeks to structure the commodity market that will bring together both small-scale and large-scale farmers, financial institutions and logistics firms.
All of us will benefit if we structure our market. We've never really gotten our acts together in Kenya when it comes to structured trading, but we will all benefit if we decide that we will move forward in that direction. So perhaps
with a fully functioning commodities exchange, there will be a market for commodity produced and stored by farmers, which will help financial institutions to finance the receipts.
The President is really 100% behind us in this. And the government has decided that this is the way to go. You've seen the investments the government have made in agriculture. And as you know, without a structured market, I think all that will be lost.
There are 11 banks ready to work with warehouse receipt system to provide liquidity into the farming space.
Any farmer that has a receipt or any trader that has a receipt approach a financial institution, they will not be required to provide any other security, because that warehouse receipt in itself is the security itself. And two, the infrastructure that has been put by the warehouse receipting system ensures that that commodity is in good shape, is good status, and that the prices can always be able to meet the loan obligations that the farmers will get from the financial institutions.
The government plans to operationalize the Warehousing Receipt System Act 2019, which establishes a regulated trading system for agricultural commodities that links buyers and sellers. Wairi Mujenga for Lunchtime News.
Rice farmers in Kirinyaga have lauded the revamping of feeder roads within the Moya irrigation scheme that had been damaged by the El Nino rains. Here are the details.
The national government allocated 200 million shillings for construction of irrigation feeder canals in Moya, while the county government of Kirinyaga matched the amount to boost distribution of water for irrigation. Farmers at the scheme say they now have 2 planting seasons in a year.
Tungependa pia kama sisi kama wakulima ya kwanza tunataka kuuliza serikali itusaidie kwa vyovyote vile, kwa sababu sisi hatuna mambo ingine, sisi ni kulima kama Moya.
Wakati Getawa aliingia, hii barabara ilikuwa mbaya na akakuja na project ilikuwa inaitwa ESP, na ndio mabarabara ikawa imetengenezwa.
Additionally, they are calling on the government to implement reforms in rice farming, targeting middlemen who they accuse of exploiting farmers.
Wakulima ndio wanahusika kuwachagua viongozi, na wao wa viongozi wanataka wanatakikana wanakuja pamoja, wanafanyia wakulima kazi. Na sasa wakati huu pahali tuko, isipokuwa ni wakati tunaona county government, tunashukuru sana, inaingilia hii mpangilio, unakuja wanaleta maroli, tunamwaga mara kidogo hapa na pale.
They urge the county government of Kirinyaga to expedite the development of the seed system to enable farmers increase rice production.
The actual figures that we have in our data, and those data can be found in the manager's office, is 25,000 acres, which we normally put at a crop in every 25,000 acres, which you put under crops in every season. Yes. And if you make the calculation, you get the total figure, the total amount that we get from the farmers as O&M payments is 75 million per year.
Ndutamo Kami for Lunchtime News.
And in sports news, record holders Egypt fought back twice to draw 2-2 with the Black Stars of Ghana at the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations after a lively second half in Abidjan. In another match, Super Eagles of Nigeria took a huge step towards reaching the last 16 with a 1-0 win over host Ivory Coast in Group A.
It's in the plateau heart of Abidjan, right in the centre, isn't he? Still in possession, it comes back, and this is the man you've got to worry about. Oh my word! Kudus is the man! He's back!
Mohamed Kudus blasted in to put Black Stars of Ghana ahead in the first half, stoppage time, a minute after Pharaoh's captain Mohamed Salah was forced off through injury.
Is heading off, and this is a massive blow.
Omar Marmoush leveled for the Pharaohs, but West Ham's Kudus quickly restored Black Stars' lead with a deflected effort.